Hello, friends. This is Josue Batista. I am the creator and host of What and Why First Live. And thank you if you are joining me today. Great. We had some technical issues this morning with LinkedIn, actually. LinkedIn and Waza, which is the third party that I use to connect to LinkedIn, they got some technical issues, and I have to thank the people of WhatsApp for their quick response. They typically, under the plan that I have, it takes 24 to 48 hours for them to take care of my ticket, but they did that right away because it was a recurrent issue. We have been experiencing issues with LinkedIn. So hopefully this is going live. I can see that it is going live, and I appreciate the fact that these are the kind of things that happens during a live video as opposed to recorded video. And I hope to bring to you a very good, at least in my opinion, a very good content this afternoon in regards to live streaming. So I prepare a presentation for you on this about the let me share my screen here so you can basically see about the 5 steps to start your video streaming show. And basically the objective of this is basically to share my experience. This is a journey that I started about 2 years ago, and during this time I have been doing recorded videos, and most recently I got into live streaming because of a personal interest of mine from a professional perspective. I want to learn the technology behind it. And it's very accessible because it's cloud-based and you pay as you go. So there is no significant investment on hardware or equipment as used to be in the past. So I hope that what I'm sharing today can help you in your journey, either recording videos and posting them on LinkedIn and other social media, or if you want to experience the live streaming, I'm going to give you some tips on that as well. So let's get started on this. First, I want to give you just a brief overview who I am. Who is Josue Batista? For some of you, that is the first time that you are connecting with me. I am a technologist, a digital technologist, a digital strategist, and over the last 15, 20 years, I've been heavily involved in technology and business. That is a combination that I appreciate and I value. Business have to drive technology. Technology has to support the business. And about 2 years ago, I started a vlog, a video blog on LinkedIn called What and Why First. And that was my way to share as I learn about leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation. So far have been a 2-year run plus. I am experimenting with live streaming. And in addition to that, in 2019, with a couple of good friends, I started a concept called Pixport CDX, which is a concept still in the seed stage, where we want to basically help organizations and individuals to be more digital, to adopt technology fully. So let's go over the agenda today. So the topic structure, we're going to have an overview of video streaming. If you didn't see my streaming last week, we're going to review that in a little bit more detail with some examples of architectures related to video on demand, live streaming, and video on the go, which is very popular right now, or video on the move. So that is the technical overview. In addition to that, we're going to have the 5 steps that I follow on a weekly basis when I produce a video. Again, it's my experience sharing with you as to what I do, and perhaps you can take from there a few things that you might find helpful. Also, I have a bonus, step number 6. So in addition to the 5, I have one more thing that I want to share with you. And then, what is next for you? I'd like to hear from you at the end or during this event. Please reach out. Let me know if there is something that you want to expand, want to understand, perhaps in another show, or contact me directly. I am available. I want to make this journey easier for you. So far we have a few friends here. Thank you so much for joining us. Is much appreciated. Okay, so let's go into the introduction to video streaming, and I think it's important to understand here that there is a challenge. There is a challenge when it comes to video. Video files are typically large. I know that compression is helping to make them smaller and so they can be distributed, easier. But still, there are large files. A 5 to 7 minute video could be 1.5 gig to 2.5 gigs in size. So think about this. If you are watching a movie or watching a video on your device, downloading an entire movie will be overwhelming. Number one, you may not have the capacity for it. And secondly, the internet speed you have better be fast enough to allow for that download to happen on a timely, reasonable time base for you. That is why when it comes to streaming, there is something called a transcoder. A transcoder does a parsing of that file into smaller sequential, smaller files, and then those files are transferred or streamed to the device that is consuming that. And it's this is oversimplified, of course. It's an oversimplified view. It's more complex to that. You have DVR functionality. For example, you can rewind, you can advance, you can pause. It adapts to the size of the device. So if you have a smaller device, it doesn't have to send you a large screen. It will send you a smaller file, and also adapts to the internet speed that you might have. So all that happened within that stream. So again, the key here is that there is an additional step divided in a more friendlier to speed and size. The same can be done with a video source. So if you have a live video source like a camera or your iPhone or your smartphone, if there is video there, that video can also be transcoded into smaller pieces and then streamed down to devices that are going to consume that. The bottom line here is that streaming allows you for very sophisticated things, including paywalling. You can actually place a control there for access. Like, for example, Netflix is a very popular streaming service for movies, and it's a subscription base. So you pay the subscription, you have access to those streaming functions or movies. So again, streaming is that continuous transmission of audio video files from the server to a client using smaller files. And it falls into two categories. You may have already a pre-recorded file, which is called video on demand. You store them somewhere, and then someone requests that file or they request that movie, and then it gets transcoded and sent. And also there is the live option, whereby you or someone else, like me right now, is streaming a video feed with graphics and sound, etc., to a transcoder, and that transcoder then is chunking that so you can watch it on LinkedIn or in any of the other networks that I'm using right now. So again, YouTube is an example. YouTube is an example of an aggregator. It's the largest video store in the world, and you may not know this, but they take your file that you upload, and they divide that file or create smaller files or different formats depending on the destination. If it's a Chrome device, if it's a Apple device, or if it's even is a Xbox, for example, it's a different format, and also the sizing. If it's smaller or larger, they do that behind the scenes. Now, another aspect of this is the technical. Let's go a little bit deeper, just beneath the surface when it comes to the technical overview. Again, it's not going to be a in-depth, because frankly it will take a significant amount of time to go over all the technical details. There are significant options for this available, but I just want to cover the architecture of the most popular ways of doing video streaming. So the first context is that you always have a video and audio sources. So it could be your iPhone, it could be your camera, it could be a microphone. Right now, for example, I am using a microphone here, and you can even have a file in your computer or your iPhone, a picture, a movie that you took. So from there, you might want to go to a video editing, and that had been the traditional way before live streaming was so popular and accessible. You will take all the sources, video and audio, do video editing. Could be something as simplistic as using your smartphone today, or it could be very sophisticated. Like, for example, I use Premiere, which is a Adobe product. So you can get very creative as to combining and creating different tracks with different sources of information and data and video and audio. So video editing is still is the traditional way. From there, then you create a file and then you upload that file. I did that for many years, at least for 2 years. I did that with my What and Why First videos. I was producing them entirely. I never sourced that to anyone. I did all the art, all the recording, pre-production, production, and post-production. And you can still see those videos, on a regular basis on my LinkedIn postings. So this is the traditional recorded video on demand stream. Is still very popular. I would recommend, if you are new to video, start with this. Start with recorded videos. You can do them in anywhere, basically. Now that we're working remote, that is more than ever an option to set up, like I did, a screen and turn on your camera, and you can just start the process of recording, editing that video, and then posting it on different social media. Now, there is another option, and the other option is about, again, starting with these sources, but then you use an encoder. An encoder is either a hardware or software device or application that allows you to do that formatting in those chunks or those smaller files using a protocol or a standard that other servers and other services use, and they can consume that information. I use OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, for that. And there are many others, but Open Broadcaster Software is free, is open source. It is one of the most robust in the market. The one deficiency that some people think that is a deficiency is they only allow one destination. So you can stream to one place only. It doesn't allow multiple destinations. But you'll see in a moment how I went around that, still using OBS, and there's plenty of resources for you to learn how to do this. But basically, I have the encoder, OBS, and from there I can stream that live to a destination. So that is what, in principle, is happening right now. I'm taking sources of video and audio, encoding them using OBS, and then sending them to social media. There is one more, by the way, another friend, a couple more friends join us. Thank you for joining us here. Much appreciated. Let me see if there's a way to, I don't think there's a way on LinkedIn to know who joined the event. I need to figure that out. Let me check and see real quick on LinkedIn. Perhaps there is a way to find out. And I want to start here LinkedIn just in case, just to see if we can bring that up. So as I was saying, there is one more component or one more architecture, to be more precise, which is relatively new, about 2-3 years. More and more social media outlets allow you to take your smartphone. You have an app there. You can encode and stream directly. So Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn to some extent. You can actually use your iPhone to use a third party and then send that to LinkedIn. Something like Restream, for example. So there are apps for that. But this is more like on the move, on the go video streaming is becoming quite popular. There is, especially with the younger generation, on the move, they're out there, and if there is a Wi-Fi connection strong enough, fast enough, anyone can actually stream directly doing the encoding and the streaming at the same time. So again, that is another architecture that is coming up. Now, let me share with you what I use. So let me just do a quick overview, again, oversimplifying what I use for What and Why First Live. So again, I have my sources, I use OBS, and then I use Amazon. So I use the Amazon Cloud services, actually the media services within AWS. And in those media services, I do a few things there. So let me just give you an idea as to how the architecture looks like. So first of all, I use Waza, and I like Waza because they take my encoding done with hardware. So I have a laptop. The laptop does poorly software encoding, but it has a very robust hardware graphical card in it. And that hardware is an Intel-based hardware and allows me to do hardware encoding, which is pretty good. It works well. And Waza is one of the few that LinkedIn recommends that can take that, hardware encoding. So I'm using Waza to stream to LinkedIn, which is happening right now. And I'm also streaming to Facebook, to a page, not to my personal profile, but to a page that I have within Facebook that is called What and Why First. In addition to that, from Waza, I'm sending a feed, just a pass-through to Restream. The people Restream are fantastic. I recommend for you to take a look at them. If you have no problems with software encoding, Restream and LinkedIn work all the time. So check that out. Now, Restream, I use them to send my video to Twitter via Periscope and also to YouTube. So right now, I am streaming to YouTube and Periscope, and it works extremely well. One more thing that I am doing with AWS is I created a architecture and software application to create captions. I am using artificial intelligence and machine learning to take my audio, transcribe that to text. From text, I am translating that to other languages and then placing those as captions. So let me just give you, let me make sure that I have that here working. We perhaps can take a look at it in a moment here. Yeah, it is working here in my, if you go to my website, What and Why First Live, let me bring it over so you can see it. So if you go there, you are going to see, let me bring it over to the screen. You can see it right here. So you can see here is right now translating that to Spanish. So it's placing the captions in Spanish there. And I can also use like pause or continue on this. Let's see here. And I can change the captions to other languages. For example, to English. And you'll see in a moment the captions being changed there. So that is I do that with AWS. You can see there. Yeah, there is. So there are the captions. So that is something that it is very interesting. It is an option available for anyone really to use. The platform allows you to, again, transcribe audio to text, text to other languages, and then place them as captions into the stream in real time. So it's pretty cool. So all of this basically is what I call the ABCS, AB Consulting Services, AB Consulting Solutions Media Services, and it's available. It's available to you. I hope that you go and check it out. That is the website, and I am available to talk to you about this because perhaps there is an opportunity for you from an individual or corporate perspective. Now, This is more complex than the ones that we saw before, the architectures we saw before, but the key here is it offers more flexibility. For example, I can include Zoom into it as another source. So if I have a guest, a VIP guest, that person can connect via Zoom, and that is another feed into my video for my OBS software, video encoder, and it goes through the same process through the platform, the media, the BCS media services platform. So again, you can go as complex, powerful, or as very simplistic when it comes to starting with streaming, video streaming. Now, let's go over the 5 steps. And again, these 5 steps are my 5 steps that I follow on a weekly basis when I produce a video. It is a way for me to keep things consistent, and let's go over those so you can see the thinking behind the framework that I'm using. So the first step is concept design, and I think anyone that wants to start video at the individual or corporate level, it should take some time to go over what is the concept, right? Why, why and what, or what and why? What are we attempting to do, right? What is the goal? And why are we doing this? I think we need to bring that first because I call that clarity of intention. If you have clarity of intention, then it makes it easier to do all the other things, all the other steps. So get into what the show is. I did that back in March in 2018. I created What and Why first. I even put some art together, just as a logo, and the thinking behind it, leadership, strategy, innovation, value creation. And I did my first video explaining the what and the why I was going to do this on a weekly basis. So keep that in mind. You have to have your vision in place because the majority of the people who do videos on a regular basis, they don't reach the number 10. Between number 5 and number 10, they quit. That is, a significant number of people don't go beyond perhaps the 10 episodes. The majority of them quit. And then very few of them even reach the number 20 or between 20 and 25. I have done at this point more than close to 80 videos over time. So it takes a lot of discipline and consistency. So if you have a concept and a vision as to what and why first, that is going to allow you to continue down the road. The next step is scripting and casting. So you have to create relevant content, right? You have to understand who's your audience, create relevant content that is you are passionate about, and also that passion is going to be transferred when you talk about it to other people. So keep that in mind, and also identify members of your team, friends, and or you can even cast yourself, like I'm doing right now. I'm casting myself as the host of the show. So you can have a variety of actors within your show over time. So far, for example, I've included several friends of mine as VIP guests, and some of them are already scheduled to be over the next shows over the next few weeks. Then marketing is important. You have to identify the segment, identify who you want to reach, again, what and why, and then create some sort of goal as to what is the reason. It's just for networking purposes, which is perfectly fine. Are you into lead generation for your own business? Are you testing a concept that you want to explore? That could be another way. And for example, right now exploring the concept of providing, support to corporations and individuals that want to do, live or on video on demand streaming. So I am reaching my network. I'm learning about it, sharing with them what I learned. So keep that in mind as well. Also, you craft the appropriate message, the value proposition, and a call to action. That is always important. Then, of course, you have to promote, because you may have a great content, you might have nice logos and branding associated with that, a great VIP guest, but you have to leverage your social media network. Reach out to them, create relevant buzz about the event, before and after, just to make sure that people, because some of them may not be able to join you live, but they may want to watch the replays. And then extend your reach globally. Why to limit yourself to your local space? This media is available to be broadcasted to the world, so why not to take more of a global perspective? And finally, show time, right? Production time is like now. We run into some glitches earlier today with LinkedIn. We were able to broadcast to others, but not LinkedIn, so I'm doing just this on LinkedIn. And you deal with those, and then you dust yourself up, pick yourself up, and just do it, right? And the idea here is to hyper syndicate your videos. So I am not just sending this to LinkedIn. I am sending this to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter via Periscope, and also posting that on my page, on What and Why First Live page as well. Leverage cloud. Instead of buying, expensive equipment or getting into heavy investments with, year-round kind of services, start small, testing, experimenting, using cloud like I have been doing have been very good for me. And include remote sources like Zoom, so you can include friends and other people remotely due to COVID. And finally, the bonus is there are resources out there. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can learn and experiment as you go. And there are organizations that can help you with live streaming, at least to get started, and even manage your operations if that is what you want, and just concentrate on the content. You can find experienced project coordinators that they will oversee your entire weekly live video production end to end. And that is something that, again, it's a concept that I, probing and see if there is an opportunity to add value there. So those are the 5+1 bonus steps that I follow on a weekly basis. And I think the next question is, where are you, right, in this journey? What are your next steps as an individual? If you want to build your own brand and share with the world what your passion is, or you want to do networking and you want to highlight what you know and the skill sets that you're learning, or you already know and you want to share it with others, video is the perfect media for that. And if you're a corporation, you should include video in your strategy. I already did a video on that, a video live a couple of weeks ago about the strategy behind video. And I really encourage you to look into that, because again, I think is a matter of taking the first step. Every journey starts with one step, but also falling down the stairs also start with one step. So you don't want to fall down the stairs, right? You want to make this journey as pleasant for you. So again, reach out. If I can be of any assistance, of any help, this platform that I am creating is available. So if there is an opportunity for me to support you as you go through your journey in regards to video in your company or as an individual, I am here to help you. So thanks again. I'm going to go back.
Hi, I am Josue Batista from What and Why First. I created this video blog to share with you my thoughts about relevant trends in leadership.
Hey friends, I typically say, until next time, cheers. And again, distribute the word, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Hi, I am Josue Batista from What and Why First. I created this video blog to share with you my thoughts about relevant trends in leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation. If you want to watch more videos, make sure you follow my blog so you never miss any of my new videos with more tips about technology and business. And if you are already a senior leader in charge of making decisions in your organization, and you would like to put some of these strategies in place for yourself, go to josuebatista.com and learn how I can help you.